The king. King. The king. King. We on Wilson Avenue. Head Start, early Head Start. Women History Month, begin. And let's get right to it. We at the Regina Duncan Park today. We in the city of Beloit, state of Wisconsin, county of Rock. And we on Dewey Avenue. And the king, he say he sees some security that might be off, but really ain't nobody spoke on it. We want to get to the gate. That's strange at the gate. Want to know why the gate fully ain't closed off? If you look at the four corners of the park, Regina Duncan Park. We're in the city of Beloit, state of Wisconsin, United States of America, county of Rock. We're at the Regina Duncan Park. We on Dewey Avenue. We on Wilson Avenue. We trying to figure this out. Could it be a gate under the First Amendment, guilt versus con fight 658, Fed 3rd at 82 and 83? And could it be a gateway to the finance? Because you said you was a pastor under the First Amendment. You started a 501c3 nonprofit, and your job was to come uplift the community and all the ways that God say was available to the people. And you done it for free, but you never got a kickback, but you was expecting kickback. We want to figure this out. We're in the city of Beloit. We're in a bogus city in the state of Wisconsin, per Google, per Instagram, per any search engine you could type in the United States or any other foreign country. And we declare a decree that answer come back. The city of Beloit is a broken city in the whole state. We want to see how, shout out to Waterworks as we've been working. We want to take a look at this show, figure out how many public figures in your city, in the city of Beloit, in the state of Wisconsin, and the United States of America in the county of Rock had filed one lawsuit because they declared decreed they was a pastor, and then another lawsuit because they said the things in the public they say could be fixed was not fixed. We want to shout out all that public safety we spoke about at the railroad track in the city of Janesville. The people just thought the king was retarded because he said it was out of code. And code today is what we want to focus on if we really want to focus and see if we could get some artificial intelligence coding going on, artificial intelligence security systems going on, new policies and procedures for security measures to go on, as we see nothing but no parking signs in this zone. Legitimate taxpayer money zone. Let's get to the bottom of it. King say he go to every city and speak on code because him and code get along better than him and a girlfriend. You see, because a lot of women, they educated, but they not. They educated in the beauty department. Want to discuss physical beauty versus spiritual beauty today as we discussing this minor project that can be put together under the First Amendment if the people in play really know about lawyering and artificial intelligence grants and proposals and government, state, federal funding, tax coding systems on which we need in this day. March 28th, 2025. We really need it, but not enough people are brave enough to come out, declare, decree it, speak on it, because they don't want to be subject to backlash. And backlash today. Shout out to Old Fashioned Bakery, Beloit, Wisconsin, 608-365-6461. And backlash today is the subject matter we want to slowly progress to. And we want to get back to that subject matter where we spoke to six-figure women only. God told you. Nobody else but God told you you was going to get six figures one day. No, God woke you up in dream, gave you a premonition about it. And as we focus on the day, March 28, 2025, we want to figure out whether or not the king had went completely crazy. What he said, a few years ago, the coding system seems out of code in this business zone. No, it's a district zone. We got a school, we got a park, we got a public place, and we got individuals now. We got this thing called individuals. They participating in this endeavor and the activities you might be offering as a service. And we want to get to it. Is the gate complete? From right here to right there. And could the city prepare some grants and proposals under the First Amendment, guilt versus conflict, 658, Fed 3rd, 82 and 83 to fix these things? We on Dewey Avenue, Hemming Avenue, and shout out to Early Head Start. And shout out to everything that did start. See, when the king got to speaking about it on YouTube. No, nothing happened until the king spoke. Well, the train station is out of code. This station out of code. This out of code. This out of code. This is out of code. That is out of code. And we want to get to the no parking signs that we do see everywhere. Even on school grounds, we see a bus stop sign, a no parking sign, a bike lane. But what we do not see is no strict warning to people that have offended to refrain from these areas. If you don't mind, it's the king. He say he had a show. The city of Beloit, city of Janesville, city of Sun Prairie, Middleton, Madison. No, he go everywhere. He not confined by one community. And God said he should be homeless at this point. And he should not have a girlfriend. And a lot of girlfriends have tried to get with him. And it hurt because he subjected them to a rejection. And we want to figure out how far rejection will hurt you in your mind if God gave you a dream and premonition to manifest it into a reality for him and no one else. He spoke to you about it. John 13, verse 20, he comes speaking to you about it. Hey, me and you we could do some wonderful things in the community if you could just stop and think. And we want to see if we could think past the stop sign today and we could see truth. Ordained prophecy if you prophesy. If you ever picked up a Bible, declared, decreed it, and spoke about something you said was supposed to be in the community, but the community said wasn't supposed to be a part, and then they start stealing your patents and your inventions and your copyright claims was copyrighted now. Through ESI evidence, see, it was electronically stored information only the government and you knew about. You put it on YouTube. And shout out to YouTube. We want to shout out YouTube because it's always a gateway when the people say, ain't no other way. The king said he been entangled in this thing called lawsuit 26 times. He finally now, by the grace and the mercy of God, considering figuring out whether or not the Seventh Circuit has come to his rescue. As you know, God say, hold on. I rescue those worth saving. All souls belong in the kingdom. But everybody can't go. Everybody can't go. We want to let you know what happened. Everybody can't go, but everybody invited. How about that? Everybody can't go, but everybody invited. How about that? For today's sermon. Everybody can't go, but everybody invited. And he say, no, if you really want to be a part of the posh in this kingdom I created, no, you got to look past skin color. You got to push past the naysayers, the doubters. It's just me and you. And it's just been me and God. Now, see, a lot of people got confused. They say, we need to see his clinical file. We need to see this file. We need to see that file. And shout out to the billboard we possibly putting up. As we declared in the creed. Who is Jesus? And who is his followers? And the king say he fully in it. 26 lawsuit. We got, shout out to we got 26 lawsuits, we got appeals, we got medical records that's being considered. And the considerings of whether or not something is a valid claim against an employer who happened to be employed by a government official. We want to slow this thing down. It's the king. He said he had a show under the First Amendment, and no, he spoke on legitimate business districts, photo enforced coding systems, and all kind of systems the people had never heard of was available system under the First Amendment, guilt versus consent. He said he was a YouTube author, the people just thought he was the worst out in the world. He started filing lawsuit. The people thought he was the worst creep in the world. He made up so many allegations against the people. No, they were outrageous. And the people went mad. We want to shout out this, but we really can't. It ain't been touched in a while. Now the king say the city of Beloit, the broken city, and the whole state and it was here that he was asked on a date. And he say that date was worth dating, but sometimes God say wait. And if God say wait, would you go against his will? Because he sent you a blessing, you see. It was a beautiful thing. But you knew you had better blessing if you could be steadfast and patient and virtue. No, it's the thing we want to focus on today. We shout out Sunny D as well. No, it's getting hot outside, people. Make sure you get enough vitamins in your children and yourself. I want to just shout this out one time as we could see some clarity to what the king said. Or the people say he went mad. Want to shout it out. No, the pole's musty, dusty, and still a little crusty. And under the First Amendment, now see, at this location, at that location, at that location, at that location, that location, at that location, any location, in this location, is it up to the 10,000 interchangeable codes? Well, we notate codes and business gotta coincide with each other, just like those who say they believe in God. You gotta really know the meaning of it. So King say he got caught up in the situation. Well, the people say they wanted to know who God was, and he say a lot of people seem confused about it. And he say he could fix that, but only if we could just stop and think for 1 minute. We chasing the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals today. All the most beautiful, wonderful judges in the world chasing the United States Supreme Court today. And we want to figure out from the clinical side of things, knowing his record, see, did he offend the government as he spoke about it, say he wanted to teach them how good he was with this thing called preaching the word and showing you prophecy. No, it's a thing. And the people got confused. I mean, black, cardinal, so there's no such thing as a white man, but the white, the brown, the purple, the pink, every race got confused because he say, you know, a lot of things could be increased if we think about it, if we get past slave wages. You know, a lot of people want slave wages their whole life. They just don't want to. Let's shout out to No Parking Sign. And let's shout out to the library, because we going to make it there. But no, the king say, for his sake, and for the sake of his show, and for the sake of his fans, and for the sake of those who didn't believe, we could have had people. Stop. We could have had spent a few more dollars on the construction project we worked on and brought the coding system, see, up to code. And as we talking about code, we want to slow this thing down and talk about school safety coding. As we know, take code now and business and six-figure women. And let's talk about the men, because we know the men know they tasked with coming from that womb. They got to create, they got to see what they can come up with. And the king said he come up with something so cold that it baffles all tech geniuses, all the commercial property developers, the city developers, international, national developers. It just robbed them of their imagination. Now, if we could slow down 1 second today, we can figure out what happened. We in the city of Beloit. We in the state of Wisconsin, the United States of America, in the county of Rock. 7th Circuit Court of Appeals have made an appeal to the king, say we might be, based on the records, you see, that you put together, and that they put together, and the medical doctors put together, and the cardiologists put together, and the ophthalmologists put together, and all the files that they got on you from prison and out of prison. Let's stop and think for a minute. If we can jump back unilaterally, forkily one time, we want to figure out if this up to the highest definition of code, and we notate code and school district code. Let's look at it, people. So we know it's off. Ain't even no need to talk. It's the king. He say he feeling good. It's March 28th. And the 7th Circuit Court of Appeal, they finally said, hold on. If you could show us. No, you got to show it. We can't go off of what you say. If you could show us that you was in critical care since 2023, and you ain't had one ophthalmology exam since 2023, 2012, 2019, we might consider, based on your display of records, whether or not you should be entitled to appointed counsel, because you really was going through some things. And King say, the doctor, shout out to Courtney and the other medical staff, they say he shouldn't be walking because he could have a stroke, but it's that imperative that we get this done. Want to shout it out. We're in the city of Beloit, state of Wisconsin, United States of America, County of Rock. He had to knock the people's socks off today. Want to see if we could possibly get some flashers, for the babies, by the school district. Shout out to the Lincoln Academy. We have no flashers for the babies when they cross the street. Stop. And no human, what a human tongue has spoke about this in the city of Beloit. Not one. But we got so many people say, oh, that man retarded. He play on his phone too much. Want to shout it out. What the babies need to cross the street. Everybody ain't got vehicles now, see. Some kids got to ride bikes. Some kids got to walk to school. And we want to shout out the fact that we got no flash. We want to see if we got enough audio, video to really lock the city of Marshall in, because in the business district, see, he keep talking about putting the camera at the highest altitude of the light pole, and the people thinking he the craziest thing that ever been a thing. But Son Prairie now might have caught on to a few things. Shout out to it. To King, he say, want to shout out that Brad Schimel campaign. We really do. Me and Brad, we got history. And records to chase this history down. See, me and Brad got history. You rookies don't know about Brad. King say he do. Him and Brad got history. Schimel it is. A lot of these rookies ain't never put one appeal in, one lawsuit in, but they the smartest crooks ever could be crooks. They done diagnosed the King with all kind of things. And the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals come back and say, hold on, shout out to King. But he not the King. He not the real thing. Shout out to all kings who think they kings. But shout out to every king who put a lawsuit in, challenged it. Based on their education and theirs alone. They said they was able to shepherdize books, interpret the law, and they would take anybody out. And they use God's compass for it. Shout out to Staples. They use God's compass to rile the sheep in. To bait them in. Hey, we got something in the skeleton. Shout out to Sonny D. And shout out to March 28, 2025. We want to shout out everybody we do see and everybody we do not see. Shout out to Lori Marshall for City Council. Shout out to Kim Nightingale Snyder for City Council. Shout out to Juan Romeo for School Board. Shout out to Beloit for Change. Shout out to these people. They get a few seconds on the do so. And do you got a show under the First Amendment for your community? Is your voice any good? Can you get anybody interested in what you got to say? And shout out to Brad. Shout out to Brad. Shout out to Schimel. He helps you. And shout out to Brittany Conson for State Superintendent. Have you ever been approached by a woman who wanted to be the state superintendent? It's paid for by Conson for our Wisconsin kids. And Zeus say he been doing it for the kids, but a lot of people got confused. Let's get back in it. Under the First Amendment, we do these things. It's nasty what he do to you. Let's shout him out. Let's shout out Brad. He done well by Zoo. He might have been a crook to you, but he say he done well by Zoo. Shout out to Brad. He done well by Zoo. And we want to shout out these cameras. See, because the city of Marshall, village of Marshall, town of Marshall, and legitimate business districts, they've been getting kind of confused on what he say. We also want to talk about bridge cameras we don't see, but we should see. It's the king. He said we missing out on bubbles on everything. Let's lock it in. You want to be homies, lovers, and friends. We strangers on the gate, chasing the outside, looking in. Are we talking about getting to that place, rookie? You know, heaven, that sweet, holy, and eternal design, only meant for the chosen beyond the 12. And we understand the chosen beyond the 12. We want to stop. We want to do this for the city of Marshall, village of Marshall, town of Marshall. They thought the king went mad. Shout out to Henry Avenue. Shout out to Vet Road Drive. Shout out to Riverside Drive. Shout out to the Eclipse Center. We're going to put them in the loop. Shout out to the city of Beloit Riverside Park. Shout out to everybody who played the part. And shout out to all the public safety that might be off right now today. And shout out to every truck that's ever pushing for work. The king said he want you to have some money. He don't want you to wake up and work for slave wages every day. If we could just don't put cameras in the business district, you see, we could get more business. Because the people, they won't worry about getting robbed, getting shot, getting stabbed, crime when they out here taking care of business. We want to do this for the city of Marshall, village of Marshall, town of Marshall. We want to do this for the city of Janesville, railroad, southwest, railroad company. Want to do this for every show I ever did, but the people say that was crazy. No, retarded, crippled, and blind. And we want to get back to the book of John, chapter 9, 35 to 41. Chapter 9. No, God asked the people, if you could see, why would you play like you couldn't? Why would you ask me that question? Shout out to Route 6. We in the mix. Photo Enforced Business District at its finest. From the north to south to east to west. All 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So many ways of traffic. And we want to shout out the octopus. You know, the octopus, she in the sky. You know, you got to vision the octopus. You know what it is. You cut the legs off. And you just got cameras everywhere. No, the king said he had work to do. And he had to get the law enforcement official truly involved. Because he said he got to be so rich that he going to need security every day. Some people going to be mad about the things he say. But he say when we break it down, you see, when all the rich people who think about rich things get around each other, we got cameras everywhere and legitimate business districts now, see. We come out, we know we safe. We know ain't no rookies just gonna do it on camera. And then we want to shout out all the cameras that malfunction. And then they cause chaos and madness. We had to do it. Shout out to Wisconsin property manager. Let's count the cameras, rookies. City of Marshall, village of Marshall, town of Marshall. Every business district we ever spoke on that don't have the cameras. Let's get it here. Let's talk about camera. We got 1. We got 2. We got 3. We got 4. We got 5. We got 6. We got 7, 8. We got so many. And we got Smoke World. We got the cash store. We got Arby's. We got a motel. And then we got some residential property. And nobody quite brought that up. And want to talk about the city of Janesville condemning and taking Zocs from the people. Or did that happen? Is they still in negotiation? Have you spoke on one contract? Do you know about one thing? And that's what the kingdom is. You know, it encompasses, shout out to Ryan. You know, it encompasses a whole bunch of people trying to figure out who's smart and who's stupid. And as we try to figure out who's smart and who really stupid, who connected and who not, and why we should steal and why we shouldn't, we meet the king. He say he got so many shows that we ain't done yet. And shout out to the city of Marshall, village of Marshall, town of Marshall. They just so behind. It's only 3,787 people there. Can you dig it? They got so much space. It'll rob you of your imagination on what you could do with all that property. And you ain't got to worry about them nosy neighbors.